Hi guys, Snow White movie is not out yet and it is already the most hated movie. I don't think anybody is gonna even go and watch it at this point. Let's go and check out how Snow White just became the most hated movie ever.
After everything that's happened, you'd think it'd be impossible for the upcoming Snow White film to fall any further, but somehow Disney found a way. And with the recent release of the official trailer, the Snow White disasters got even worse. Now, Snow White has been played up as one of Disney's biggest projects, and as such, you'd think they go above and beyond with the marketing. However, as we all know, it's been an absolute train wreck from the beginning, ever since the main co-stars trashed on the original characters.
Yeah, I think
and all
it's
during
all
this
about
build-up,
Rachel.
audiences barely got a peek at the official trailer. It was all just these teasers that never really amounted to anything. Most were expecting Disney to publish the official Snow White trailer alongside the release of Wicked, as not only would it be a smart marketing move, but it made the most sense thematically. And while that's exactly
Wicked
what
actually
Disney
was not
did,
bad.
their strategy was unconventional. The trailer and official poster were only available in a few theaters. For just over a
Why?
week, promotions didn't go any further. No one could find the official new trailer anywhere. It took someone leaking a recording of it before the rest of the internet could even get a glimpse. But still, not even the leak got Disney to post the trailer on its official accounts. It was almost like the studio was
Interesting.
desperate to keep their trailer out of the public eye, like they were trying to avoid ridicule for as long as possible, especially seeing how much of a disaster it had been already. Even Disney had to face the music at some point, and on the 3rd of December they finally posted the official trailer to YouTube, and the world would quickly let the studio know exactly what they thought of it. Now at the
Yep.
time of making this video, the trailer currently has around 660,000 more dislikes than likes, and that number is still
Almost a
massively
million.
climbing. But remarkably, one of the only redeeming things about this entire fiasco is that Disney actually left the comments on the trailer, and it's almost more entertaining than
Crazy.
anything Disney's put out recently. Some wonderful gems included. At this point, the monetization of the video is going to earn Disney more revenue than the movie itself, and they finally did it. They made a movie nobody is going to pirate. Those who haven't seen the trailer may wonder if it's really as bad as the comments are making out to be, and we can say with certainty that it may be even worse. The trailer makes Snow White feel like an unholy amalgamation of all the worst aspects of modern Disney: the bad CGI, the oversaturated colors, the preachy woke actors, the character assassinations to tell a more modern story because apparently old fairy tales can't teach valuable lessons anymore, and all of this has been rolled into one massive controversial mess. It seems like the trailer is trying to tell two stories: the original Disney tale and its modernized counterpart. As a result, it all just feels very disconnected. Disney's designed the film to look like the original movie and included moments from it, but there's no room for any of it in their modern retelling. And it leaves you wondering how they plan to fit the old hag tricking Snow White into eating the apple and Snow White bravely confronting the queen in the same story. The one doesn't work with the other, unless of course they're hoping nostalgia would draw crowds and plan to swap them once they're in their seats. It just seems like nothing about any of this makes any sense. And this is all made worse by the fact that they use horrendous CGI. It feels
Yeah,
like
that's
Disney
the
took a
worst.
scalpel to the original movie, but rather
They're
than
so
carefully
scary.
carving it into something new, it hacked away at this with reckless abandon. Every bit of animation feels oversaturated, artificial, and just lifeless. While the creatures move around and pull expressions similar to their 2D counterparts, there's just no life to them. None of the magic that Walt Disney originally thought of. They're essentially just glorified plushies, and the dwarfs are even worse. Knowing
Oh
the
my
whole
God, they are
scandal about
scary.
the dwarfs to begin with Peter Dinklage even pressuring Disney not to use dwarf actors, it was originally supposed to be 7 diverse magical dwarfs. But now seeing the huge backlash to that, their faces are an unfortunate combination of animation and hyper-realism, and the result's terrible. It's hard to believe that a studio like Disney with all its resources could have such terrible CGI. This is the same studio responsible for producing Narnia, and yet
I can't
somehow
believe
even
it.
Narnia, an almost 20-year-old film with a smaller
Yeah.
budget and less advanced technology, has better CGI.
Yep.
It's a real wonder how Disney went from designing a realistic lion with natural facial expressions to an over-cartoonized turtle. Knowing the amount of hate the film's already got just from the actresses alone, Disney also seems to have really abandoned the production value here. And it's not just the animals and dwarfs that feel artificial. The sets look very obviously green screened, and something about the costumes feels off. They seem almost cheap and plastic, like toys designed for children rather than set pieces for a multi-million-dollar movie. The people are the only things that don't feel like they were pulled out of a cartoon, and as a result, they just look out of place. The only person who doesn't seem to look out of place in the trailer was the
Now-
old hag.
An old hag has bigger nose than this. Her nose is so small, she doesn't even look scary.
Now I know it's meant to be a kids movie and children may not be worried about the smaller details as much, but kids still deserve good content and so do adults. And Disney has become so reliant on CGI in the last few years that their projects just seem so lazy. You don't even have to
Yeah.
go that far back to see how much the over-reliance on CGI has changed the complete quality of the studio as a whole.
Wicked
And you
didn't
know it's
have
just
a
this
lot of
corporate
CGI. It did,
soulless
but not
board
as
at the
much.
top of the
That's why I
company
really liked
looking
it.
to cost cut and make as much profit from the stuff as possible. I mean, you just look at the difference between Lily James's dress in Cinderella and Zegler's in the new trailer.
Yeah,
There's
what is
absolutely no
this?
contest. And the fact that there's barely a
Like,
10
honestly, cosplayers would have better dresses than what she has. You can buy a costume on Amazon and you would get a better one. This is so insulting.
10-year difference between the two films is devastating. Not even the acting can save this
10
abomination
years
of a film,
difference.
and in some cases is actually contributing to its failure. While Rachel Zegler is currently one of the most disliked Disney actresses, due to her terrible interviews last year, her role isn't actually unearned. She can deliver the lines
this
well, and there's
hair
no
is
denying that she can
terrible.
sing. However, Gal Gadot's performance as the evil queen leaves much to be desired. The thing about Disney villains is that they're meant to be dramatic, larger than life, and very fun to watch. No matter how evil they might be, you just can't help but enjoy every moment they're on screen.
Yeah.
It's because you just know that the actors behind them were probably having the best time. They also have undeniable talent and presence. Even when hidden behind the facade of a cartoon lion, Jeremy Irons commands the room. Be Prepared is one of the most well-loved songs from The Lion King, because he and Jim Cummings put their all into the performance, which is a huge contrast to Gal Gadot, who really doesn't seem to care about this movie anymore, all while secretly hating her co-star and having no real presence for the character of the evil queen. This character is meant
She's
to
a
be
horrible
regal,
actress.
cold and calculating, someone so obsessed with her own beauty that she's willing to command the death of her own stepdaughter. Someone who loses that beauty because her obsession drives her to sacrifice it just so that she can rob someone else of theirs. But there doesn't seem to be any of that obsession in Gadot's version of the evil queen. While we could chalk this up to the
Man,
fact that they've
looks like-
changed some aspects of the story, it's mostly because
Just
of Gal Gadot's
face.
delivery. She seems more stiff and just irritated
So
that her stepdaughter
stiff,
has
like,
opinions,
no emotions.
and her obsession with her beauty has become more surface level vanity. Just based on the trailer, we can tell that Gal Gadot's evil queen orders
Even when she was like the most mad in this trailer here.
become more
Look at
surface level
this
vanity.
scene.
Just based on the trailer, we can
Here, like this is probably her the most mad. Huh? Not even like a smirk? No lines? Nothing? What, is she like full of Botox or something?
tell that Gal
Maybe.
Gadot
Maybe that's what they try to do. Like a fantasy Botox that makes your face just a Kardashian.
evil queen orders Snow White's death, and it will probably have very little intimidation behind it. In less than 2.5 minutes, Disney seems to have destroyed their most prized creation, the original film that started it all for Disney, and it seems like nobody on the
Yeah,
set
man,
even
the
cares about the
OG.
film, with most of the actors seemingly hating the original characters.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
She's not going to be
yeah.
saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
Wow.
She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story.
I
for,
love
think, young-
how we live in such a modern world where it is absolutely ridiculous to be saved by a prince and to appreciate love. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. What, we have to be, all women have to be leaders or else they're losers? Interesting.
people everywhere to see themselves in.
And the production crew constantly changing what's actually going to happen in the movie. Since being cast, Rachel Zegler has been one of the studio's biggest problems. She's been at the center of numerous controversies and gone out of her way to make enemies with people with much more power than her, and even her own co-star. But unfortunately for
It's like
Disney,
such a
her
meme.
latest scandal wasn't a spat with a more popular celebrity, or even the characters like she did previously. This time, she decided she would take on more than half of her country. Now, whether you're left or right wing, it doesn't really matter here. It's all about virtue signaling Hollywood, which is why when Trump won the election recently, Zegler was not happy, but not for any normal reasons. Showing that she needed to prove to the world that she was on the right side of history, she took to her Instagram and wrote a strongly worded story about how disappointed and heartbroken she was over the country's decision, calling Trump a threat to democracy and finishing off her post with a wish that Trump and his supporters would never know peace. No matter which side of the political aisle you're on, this is a pretty strong statement for a mainstream actor. Not really the sort of thing you want from a woman playing a Disney princess, as more than half the country were understandably angered by Zegler's words and started calling for her to be fired, which isn't the first time that people have called for this. After this, people suspected that Disney sent her a very stern email, as Zegler quickly returned to Instagram to deliver a half-hearted apology. She explained that she let her emotions get the best of her and was committed to contributing positively towards a better tomorrow. The apology is very carefully worded, as if Disney had told her exactly what to say. However, no one else was buying it. Zegler had shown her true colors once again, and after many forced apologies, nobody was buying it anymore. But it wasn't just hurting Snow White's chances of success, it was also poking holes in Disney's paper-thin arguments over its integrity, as there's been far too many scandals to count with Disney in recent years. And we've actually made several videos in the past discussing just this alone. And Disney, seeing the backlash they've got to all their virtue signaling stuff, are now trying to reel it in. But it seems like they're losing control of all of this, which is why many suspect that Disney is once again bracing itself for a rough start to 2025. This comes after many years of disaster, as money has just been going down the drain for the company recently. Now, of course, Disney is notorious for having big budgets for its films. It dedicates thousands of hours and millions of dollars to projects that people love. However, it seems like as the cost of projects has gone up, the quality has also taken a nosedive, as we can quite clearly see with Snow White. According to Forbes, production costs have jumped up to $269.4 million, and that was just because of reshoots after the backlash over Disney's replacements for the dwarves and other elements of the movie. This time, the studio can only blame itself. While Disney was forced to admit they'd overspent their budget, it refused to admit defeat. A $55.5 million reimbursement from the UK government gave the studio a bit of leeway, but the cost of the film was still insane. And the crazy thing is that these aren't even the final numbers. And yet by looking at the trailers and the reception to it online, it seems like this movie is going to be yet another giant train wreck for the studio. For almost 2 years now, Disney has spent so much money on reshoots, post-production and marketing just for this movie. So it's safe to assume that by the time Snow White makes it onto the big screen, its total cost will be well over $300 million. Because of the drama surrounding the upcoming movie, most doubt it'll even break even, much less profit. To put into perspective, The Little Mermaid suffered a $5 million loss, and this was despite having a lead actress that was at least likable. Meanwhile, Zegler appears to be one of the main reasons people are sworn off watching Snow White, not to mention the huge list of all the other things. With this in context, it's easy to understand why they avoided releasing the official trailer and poster for so long. Arguably, the best thing Disney can do now is accidentally lose all the footage from the project and use it as a tax write-off.
It's like tax write-off. Oh my god, imagine. That is insane. I don't think there will, like, this is one of the worst things about the movie. The dwarves, they are nightmare infused. Like, if I was a child and I would watch this, I would cry. I would go home and have nightmares. Like, they are not cute at all. Like, in the actual animation, they have like these lashes, pinky nose. Like, they are so cute and adorable, even though they're like old people, you know. But here they went too far to make them realistic and weird. So look at this guy. This is the worst. And I don't mind like that a turtle looks more plushy looking like and cute. I don't mind that. I do mind when the actual dwarves don't look cute, because I have to look at them the whole movie, you know. I have to relate to them, I have to like them, and I will not. I don't like her hair, I don't like her dress, her acting, I don't like Gal Gadot's acting. She's so pretty, which makes no sense because she's even more pretty than Rachel. Like, nothing makes sense here. This is a whole new movie, just blasted with the nostalgia of the OG movie. Like, it is crazy. I don't want to watch this. Like, I feel offended that I don't want to watch it. I don't want to give them my money. I did watch Wicked and I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed it. It didn't have any of these things. It was really well made. There was CGI, but also there were actual build-ups in the scene. So you can see that the budget went into something very artistic. The songs were really nice, like the musical itself. And the actresses, both of them, Ariana did such a good job. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed that movie. But this one, I don't think so. Nope.